This paranormal encounter took place at the hotel I worked at last year. I was 20 years old working at a small mom and pop hotel in Ontario, California. I had worked there for some time before I started to stay there for a few months. The owner taught me everything that I needed to know so I can run his business while he went on a business trip to Africa. Mind you, I didn't have a car, so my only option was to stay there and work around the clock if need be. I didn't have to pay for the room, and I got to wash my clothes in the laundry room. There was a grocery store in walking distance and restaurants all around me where I could get food at a discounted price since I worked at the hotel. I thought this was a sweet deal. One night my boyfriend came down to visit, and while he was in the bathroom, I heard banging coming from the room next to ours. Then I heard scratching on my walls. I told him to stop playing, and he didn't even know what I was talking about. The banging continued all night, so I called the front desk and told them the people next to me were loud and I had to be up at 6 to go down there to work. She was quiet for a while, then told me that she hadn't rented out the room next mine. Mind you, I had an end room. I quickly ran outside to see if the curtains were open or closed, and they were open. I could see right into that room, and nobody was in there. This was an outside hotel. I had never been so creeped out in all my life. Then I decided to sage the room to rid it of any bad spirit's energy, and that worked for a while until it didn't. The next time something demonic happened. I was asleep and kept hearing whispers in my sleep. I hate whispers with a passion, and they creep me out to the fullest. So I sat up in bed and I was looking around the dark room, and in the corner of the room, I saw white glowing eyes staring at me. I felt frozen by its glare. I could see its body and saw that it was crouched down, holding its knees. Then I saw more shadows appearing closer and closer. I reached to turn on the lamp next to the bed, and it didn't cut on. So my next thought was that I needed to run outside and get to safety. It took all the balls in the world for me to get up and run outside. I was so scared I couldn't feel my legs. All I could feel was the cold wooden floor beneath me. I got to the door and flung it open, only to see that the bedroom curtains were on the outside of my room's window. The sky was black and the clouds were a dark, dark green with gray tints. I was mortified to realize that I was still asleep and I hadn't actually woken up. I looked back inside the hotel room and saw myself asleep in the bed. I screamed bloody murder, and then that's when I jolted awake for real. I said a prayer and went back to sleep. The encounter that followed was worse. I went back to sleep, and yet again I could hear things in my sleep. I was scared and couldn't move any part of my body. I started to pray in my head as loud as I could, only to awake and feel my body slam on the bed as if I was levitating. I called my grandma the next day, and she said that was a demonic attack. I got my car shortly after a few days later and never stayed in that hotel again. I was severely depressed at the time I was staying there, and maybe those spirits were feeding off of me. I never stayed there again.